I just finished the Traitors US Season 4, Episode 7. Let's get to it. So the banquet was so intense, so everyone was dressed to the nines, but the paranoia was palpable. We got a tease of Lisa asking help pinning the amulet, but we don't really know until much later. And then there was a huge twist about the antidote. Basically, like there's two antidotes, and two players get to drink the antidote, and they get saved from the curse if they are cursed. And then in the end, Alan reveals that Jam Jam was the one cursed, and since he didn't drink the amulet, since he didn't drink the antidote, he gets murdered. And and before he gets taken away, he immediately shouts that it's Lisa because Lisa kissed me directly, and housewives don't kiss. So that's huge, and I felt so bad for Lisa because like he or she gets she's getting way more heat on top of the heat she already got from the previous episode. This Black Banquet was really an epic twist to the usual murder in plain sight because usually the murdered player doesn't get revealed until the next morning. So at that point, like most players have kind of forgotten what took place the previous day. And at the same time, normally the murder players get no say at all because they got murdered that night and don't show up the next morning. So having Jam Jam be able to like bring up what he thinks happened, like being able to call out Lisa, that's so huge. And also like everyone got was able to like say their suspicions as well while all of this was happening. Like is it like you serving me food or like people accusing Steven of like, hey, you let me pick a card? Like, could that be it? Like there was so much like chaos that was happening because of that. But poor Lisa, like that was so bad for her game that like Jam Jam actually like was able to call her out like that. So the next morning at breakfast, it's interesting. I guess because there was no more turret meeting after the banquet, so the next morning, all three traitors got to be the first, and it was so interesting to see how useless Rob is for the traitors team because it was evident that he has no team play. He's only playing for himself and doesn't really care the fact that like Candice and Lisa has kind of been working together, trying to do stuff as a team, and the fact that Lisa like took one for the team, doing the murder in plain sight on her own for the team. Rob didn't care. Like he's not even trying to like help help like dissolve the situation of Lisa getting the heat from the banquet. And on top of not helping, Rob even like piles on to the fact that he's like discreetly and indirectly throwing Lisa under the bus in the discussions by like but it's very smart though like I, I mean it's already clear that he's looking out for himself, so like what he's doing is really good for his own personal gain. Like it was interesting to see how indirectly shifts the narrative back to Lisa when when people were talking about Natalie versus Lisa, and Rob was like, no, but you have to think of this logically, where Jam Jam was saying one thing and Lisa was saying the other. So obviously one of them is lying, and we know that Jam Jam is a faithful. So why would he lie? So that indirectly means that Lisa is lying. Today's mission to reach the summit with gold was a major deviation from the UK version. So in the UK version, the mission was a finale mission. So this happened way, way earlier. And in the UK version, it was a group effort. So basically, the entire group was trying to get as much gold as a team and wasn't competing against each other. But in the in this version, they're all trying to get as much gold for their own because the bigger twist here is that the six players with the most gold gets to have the chance to earn the dagger, which is also a big deviation from the UK version, because in the UK version the dagger was introduced at the banquet and was given to the traitors to decide who to give it to. So here it's very interesting, the deviation, because so six players get a chance to earn it, and then Rob Rob getting the most gold has the advantage of trying to potentially steal who he can guess might have the dagger. And so basically, like, he says he's good at detecting lies, and he actually nails it because he gets a dagger from Natalie, and and it's huge because now it means the traitors has it, and since he's very against Lisa, he could potentially use it for Lisa, and it also means that he can it won't be used against him. And another big deviation about this dagger situation is that in in the UK, the dagger had to be used right away in the next banishment. But here, Rob gets to choose within the next four banishments or the next four roundtable when he wants to use it. So it's major, and also the dagger can be hidden. Like he doesn't need to disclose that he has it, and nobody other players might not know who has the dagger, whereas in the UK version, it was declared who gets the dagger. So I am glad that they made these differences between UK and US, because I feel like at least it feels less repetitive, especially since a lot of people watch both versions. So if you're seeing the same thing over and over, it kind of gets stale and boring. And also in this way, it's kind of like like as a techie, I used to be a software developer, so it's kind of like A/B testing. Like it's nice in a way because actually both US and UK version use the same production company. I feel like it's their way of like A/B testing to see like, hey, uh, which which version or which game mechanics actually works better in the overall gameplay. And I feel like it would be beneficial for the future games in the long run, because then they see which works better and not. So when the Dagger group came back to the mansion, I feel like this is where Rob made his first crucial mistake. So when they got out of the car before they entered the mansion, he told the Dagger group basically like, "Hey, I got the dagger. Let's not tell the others because that protects us, and I'm telling it to you guys because I trust you guys as faithfuls." And for me, that is such a bad play. Like, it's more to say that don't tell the others so that we're all kind of protected because they don't know who has the dagger. But it's bad play to say that, one, that he has the dagger, and second, that he assumes that everyone in the dagger group is a faithful. Because, because in my mind, like, for me, the only way you can say that with certainty is if you're a traitor and you know the other two traitors are in the other side, like the people inside the mansion right now. So I don't know if people will catch on to that, because that's kind of a weird thing to have to say or to bring up at that point. Like the 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 proper play was just to say, hey, let's not say who has a dagger so that we're kind of protected. Basically like the same play as a shield, like where like the team would not say who has a shield, and would also not admit who has a shield so that everyone's protected. So at the round table, it was clear that it was basically a Natalie versus Lisa situation on who's gonna get banished, and everyone's kind of like talking their own thing on why it's Lisa, why it's Natalie. But the interesting play for me here is Rob again. So Rob could have just like laid back and like let everyone else do the work, but no, he had to speak up and basically he defended Natalie and like pointed fingers to Lisa. And I know he's trying to make himself look like a traitor hunter at this point, but I feel like it might bite him back again, because on top of like what he said outside the mansion with the dagger group, now he's doing this thing again, and it kind of looks like a traitor on traitor when people look and connect the dots eventually. But again, like Lisa is really so bad at defending herself. Like it was already clear from like the previous episode how bad she was in not being able to like defend herself from Colton. But here it was even more clear because like the only thing people had on Lisa was the fact that Jam Jam kept calling her out, saying that she kissed me directly when she normally wouldn't. That was it. And but Lisa kept saying, "No, I air kissed him. I didn't kiss him directly." And so obviously everyone was gonna ask like, so why would Jam Jam say that? And then all she has to say was, I don't know. That's it. That was all her defense, and that's all her defense ever since. Even like last episode, basically when Colton was was like accusing her, she did nothing, and and I feel like she could have said so many things to kind of like defend herself and deflect back because like for one like she could easily say that, well, Jam Jam could have mistook the air kiss as a direct kiss. And then another thing is like Jam Jam has like facial hair and beard, so she could also say that when she air kissed, she touched the beard, and Jam Jam could have potentially seen that as or felt it as a direct contact. And then the funniest part for me is that everyone keeps talking about the kiss as the reason Lisa is a traitor because of Jam Jam's accusation, but it wasn't even the kiss that marked Jam Jam. So like Lisa could also have brought that up. Like she could have said like, like all Jam Jam all like the only justification Jam Jam had was the kiss, but there was no proof that it was even the kiss that marked him. So why is everyone using the kiss as the excuse when it's not even a valid excuse? So like there's multiple ways she could have brought it up. She could have defended herself, but saying I don't know is basically like giving up, and basically that's what happened because like a lot of people who initially planned to vote for Natalie ended up switching to Lisa because of her weak defense, and and basically Lisa got voted off. And I mean, I'm very impressed with how she accepted her fate because she left very gracefully. I honestly thought she would have left guns ablazing and very pissed off, but good for her. Kudos to her for like being very graceful about it. But it was interesting as well at the voting that Candice threw a curveball by voting Rob, claiming that it was a throwaway vote. She was initially gonna go for Natalie, but Natalie's defense and how she spoke made her feel that she was a faithful or at least not a traitor, um, just because of those accusations. And that was I felt was a misplay as well. Like it's not a good move because like if you were doing a throwaway vote, so a throwaway vote in that aspect made sense because it makes Natalie trust her after, like, or feel grateful to her after. But voting Rob for your throwaway vote was a very bad play because like why would you pick Rob when Rob was integral to the conversation in getting Lisa out? And also, like, as a traitor team, Rob and Candice didn't have an issue with each other. It has always been Rob and Lisa who was kind of like battling each other. So why cause more drama that didn't exist? So now Rob has another reason to like throw Candice under the bus when Rob wasn't even planning to begin with. So yeah, I felt like Candice did the misplay, Rob is doing some misplays as well. So we'll see how those work out for them. So after the banishment, Johnny says he's suspecting Colton and Rob, and meanwhile Colton is actually um, analyzing things quite well because he also analyzed Candice correctly, and it goes back to one of the previous episodes where he told Natalie like, "Hey, like, take a look at the people who's like redirecting the heat away from Lisa." And yeah, like I'm glad that he's using his own strategy in identifying Candice at this point. And then this is where like Candice misplay comes into play because like Rob then piles on saying that, yeah, I wonder if the turret is all housewives. And now it is such a super smart move for Rob to do that because it it puts heat on Candice, basically giving Candice to them, and then absolves him of that because now everyone will think it's gonna be Dorinda, um, as well as being as the traitor basically. So we ended at the turret with Candice and Rob, but there was no cliffhanger this time. Basically, it ends at them meeting at the turret, and this would be interesting. I'm very excited to see how the discussion would go between Candice and Rob. It's gonna be super awkward, and it's gonna be very heated, but I'm all for that. So I'll see you at the next episode.